Wishing for a Christmas mortgage miracle? Patriot Trading Group wants to make your wish come true. Just enter to win on Family Values Radio website, and you can enjoy having your mortgage paid for a year. That's right. It's the Christmas Mortgage Miracle Contest, where if you win, you'll have all kinds of extra money for other things, like a vacation, new clothes, new giant screen TV with whole home audio, whatever else may be on your wish list, because the winner will receive their mortgage or rent payments covered for a year. To enter, go to FamilyValuesRadio1010.com and click on the banner. Enter once each day to increase your chances to win and look for bonus entry opportunities. That's FamilyValuesRadio1010.com and enter the Christmas Mortgage Miracle Contest, sponsored by Patriot Trading Group. See our website for details.
Good morning and welcome to Hump Day. I'm Joe Jaquin, CEO of the Patriot Trading Group, and our toll-free number 800-951-0592. The website at allamericangold.com. Make sure you make that part of your daily routine. So many articles, videos, all these things. Monday through Friday, we update that thing with news to disturb the comfortable and, just make all you already comfortable people maybe a little disturbed. allamericangold.com. Today, we're going to do kind of a history of the world of how you buy gold, how does the gold market work? Silver is, same thing, silver market. A lot of people, a lot of new clients, which, again, every crisis seems to bring more people. And normally what happens is either something happened to them or something happened to an immediate family member or a close friend, right? And all of a sudden, those fears that they've been, maybe in the back of their minds have come to the forefront. Believe it or not, lack of toilet paper, lack of cleaning products. Believe that or not, all of a sudden people are like, oh, that could never happen here. I mean, did you ever think you could, go months and months and months and months and you still go to the toilet paper aisle or the cleaning aisle and, it's empty or it's half empty or maybe it's like simple things like bleach and stuff like that. And again, it just depends. There's all these different little triggers out there. So for all of you newbies out there, today's going to be a show for you. And, of course, all you old-timers, too. It helps to kind of, I forgot about that. Or, I didn't understand how that worked. Now I understand it. So we'll be doing a lot of that today. So be ready for that. Kind of a flat day today. Gold's not doing a lot. Silver's not doing a lot. The markets aren't doing a lot. Did you see Boeing? The FAA, it's been, almost 2 years since they grounded the 737 MAX. Apparently, they're ungrounded. Don't know that anybody actually wants to get on them, but they're ungrounded. So good news for Boeing today. Again, the problem that I have is, obviously, Boeing knew about the problem. Hit it. We had a couple of planes, not here, but in other places, go down. I was reading some of the FAA. The issues that caused the two planes to crash, they said, can't happen again, which I'm happy about. What about any other issues that hadn't happened? That's a little more concerning. But anyway, the 737 MAX is now ungrounded today, and that was probably the biggest thing. Did you see? Maybe you didn't, because, I don't watch a ton of TV, so maybe I don't see everything, but my wife never certainly said anything to me, and none of my friends did either, so I don't think it was really out there. The largest distribution of food ever in the state of Texas. I don't know if people saw this. I believe it was over the weekend. The North Texas Food Bank over the weekend had over 25,000 people. So this was a big, this is COVID now. So this is a car event. and I don't mean to laugh because it's not funny, but this was like, the Trump trains, they were driving around the valley and they would go for miles. This was that. Imagine 25,000 cars. They had the news chopper up above. This thing went for miles. They said that the event on Saturday, the largest ever food giveaway, according to the North Texas Food Bank. And here's the thing that inside of it, obviously, it's a horrible thing when you think about, okay, so you're at the food bank. Chances are all the people are already on food stamps. They're already, probably a lot of them are on unemployment and other government things, and it's still not enough. But the people, the spokesman for the food bank said that 40% of the folks coming through our partners' doors are doing so for the first time. And this is the thing that we've talked about, that slow decay, right? That underbelly, if you look at Wall Street, hey, everything's okay. Right? But when you dig a little deeper, where there's tension, obviously, right? Half the country's unhappy about the election, the other half's happy about it. There's social unrest. We get all that. But now they're talking about, and of course, you think about Texas, the lockdown wasn't as bad there. But you got to remember, too, oil, right? Oil's there as well. So they kind of got a double whammy, right? They got the COVID and the oil. And you think, Texas, that's where people are moving to. 40% increase in people going to the first time ever in their lifetime. Patriot Radio News Hour. We'll be back right after the break. It is amazing what Big Brother can do. In this food bank article, they were able to say that Google searches, food banks near me, are at the highest level since the creation of the internet. They said the next highest level for Google searching food banks near me was in 2008, 2009, and the searches then were half of what they are today. So that kind of gives you a little perspective and why it is, really it's why it is that so many people are going to gold. When you talk about why are there so many new people in the gold market? Maybe because they know some of the people that are waiting in line at these food banks. And when you talk about, 08, and when we talk about 08 and 09 and 2010, that was a bad time. It was a bad time. And according to Google Analytics, it's twice as bad this time. Now, we've spent a lot more money than we did the last time. Remember, at the height of the crisis, right, we had the wars in Iraq and Afghanistan, and I think the budget deficit was right around 1.2, 1.3 trillion. Of course, fast forward to today, there's not really any wars. Matter of fact, the president trying to get our troops home before Joe Biden gets into office, if he gets in. And we ran a deficit, they're going to say 3.2, I think is what the number is going to be. But it's really 4.4 trillion dollars. So the amount of money we spent, far greater. The Fed's balance sheet, remember the Fed's balance sheet It took till like 2013 before it stopped rising to that 4.5 trillion. You know, and now we're talking about, hey, we're at 8 trillion and rising. Right? And we almost doubled the Fed. We really almost doubled the Fed's balance sheet in 6 months. Because remember, we were on the reduction of the balance sheet when COVID hit, and of course, all that stuff turned around. And actually, it was even before COVID. Remember, there was problems in the Treasury market at the end of 2018 or at the end of 2019. Right? And Bank of America had been warning the central bank, hey, what are you guys doing? You can't be cutting back on Treasury purchases. Of course, they were right. But I think this has driven a lot of different things, have driven more and more people to the gold market, because deep down in a lot of people's, I'll hearken it back to when I first started here. You were the whack jobs, the tinfoil helmet wearers. You know, I laugh because I've got like 6 or 7 tinfoil helmets here in the studio. Every once in a while, we have these customers that like to make their own tinfoil helmets. You know, you were in the basement, worried about the world coming to an end, right? And at the holidays. Right? You were the crazy aunt or the whacked out brother-in-law or whatever it may be. Or the worst, it's my dad. My dad, he's old. Grandpa's an old nutbag. Right? You know. And then, of course, 9/11 happened. And the dot-com bubble burst kind of back to back there. And you got a little less wacky, but not much. You're still, just a crazy idiot. Don't even listen to what he's got to say. Right? When you spoke up, people, they'd cringe. And then the financial crisis happened. And all of a sudden, maybe you weren't that crazy. Now, not everybody at the table was buying into it, but maybe 20, 30% of the table, at least maybe they were listening. And maybe even a small percentage was doing something about it. Right now, of course, we fast forward to today. And all of a sudden, the holidays are canceled. Right? Hey, we're not even going to, don't invite the crazy guy over. He may have COVID. But you see what I'm getting to. All of a sudden, right? We're getting a lot smarter all of a sudden. Right? We went from the crazy wacko guy to hey, tell me what's going on out there. I can't tell you how many brothers, sisters, cousins, aunts, uncles that have been referred to us in the last 6 months. It's been really impressive. And we get a lot of new questions. Like yesterday I was running a special, the AU $20 lib with the 2 ounces of silver for $21.25. Some of our new listeners were like, $21.25. No, $2,125. I mean, gold's almost $1,900 to the ounce. So I decided, let's review a little bit. So when you look at the spot price of gold, for all of you new people out there, there's gold, silver, all commodities have contracts. And as an example, right now in gold, we're in the December contract. Same with silver. The next gold contract is February of 2021. The next silver contract is March of 2021. And it goes on and on and on. And all these paper contracts represent in the gold market. If you're buying it from the New York Stock Exchange, from the COMEX, it's a 100-ounce contract. So essentially, you're placing a bet on 100 ounces of gold, whether it'll be higher or lower. And there's contracts for everything: crude oil, soybeans. Wow, good day to be a soybean farmer, right? The Chinese, if it's the one thing, the one thing they can't stop buying, apparently, the soybeans. $12 I saw on soybeans today. But everything has a contract. What does that have to do with the price? So gold is not a stock. Okay, so when you call us, you're not buying a piece of paper. Right? They have stuff like that. They've got GLD and silver. They got the ETFs. You can buy paper gold. Problem is, it's not going to do you any good, right? The receipt. If you need access to your gold, the receipt's not going to do you any good. But we're talking about the physical commodity. And what people don't really understand, why did we set these up to begin with? And the answer really is quite simple. All you farmers out there know this, right? You plant in the spring, but you don't harvest till the fall. You sell. You can lock in your soybeans before you've ever planted them, right? Hey, come October, I've got to deliver X amount of bushels, and I locked myself in at this price. Same thing happens in the gold market. Let me give you an example. I'm a miner, okay? I'm a gold miner, and I'm in the middle, I don't know, I'm in Tanzania in the jungle somewhere. And I got this mine. And I've got expenses, right? And I gotta pay to get the road in, or I gotta pay to bribe government officials, or I gotta pay the power bill, the labor guys, whatever it is. And I know today that in October of next year, I'm gonna have 10,000 ounces of gold. But I need money today. They go and they sell one of these contracts. So when you think about the spot price of gold, it means two different things. There's paper guys just placing a bet. Hey, I think gold's going to be higher in December or lower in December. I actually don't want to hold any gold. I'm just making bets, right? That's what the banks do, the hedge funds, right? They just make bets. But for the actual miners, they're pre-selling the gold out of the ground. So when you think about in the physical commodity where you get to physically own your gold or your silver, the spot price for you is, hey, that's the gold that's still in the ground. That gold gets mined. It gets put into good delivery bars. In here in the U.S., now they've changed it since then, but here in the U.S. for 100 years, well, not 100 years, 50 years, it's been 100 ounce, 9995 bars, 100 ounce bars, and nothing's exact in the gold market. The bar may be 99.3 ounces, it could be 100.2 ounces, but it's right around 100 ounces. And so you think about, here's the miner, I've mined the gold, I've got the ore, and I send it off to be refined into these bars, which then get shipped to New York. Then they wait in New York. They're in the vaults, and then the U.S. Mint or somebody else says, "Hey, I need 1,000 ounces, or I need 10,000 ounces, or whatever it is," and these bars get shipped. Then they melt the bars back down, and they actually get put into strips. These really long strips, and they get punched into disc. So they're just the gold and silver works the same way, but silver it's 1,000 ounces. But either way, same way in strips, and they're called planchets, which is nothing more than, at that point, it's technically kind of like a round. So 1 ounce or a half ounce or a quarter ounce, a 1/10 ounce disc. Then those discs get sent to the mint, and the mint puts them into the presses and stamps them, right? And that's how you get your design and your dollar value, all that stuff. Then the mints, they sell it to one of, I think it's 8, maybe 9 now, bullion banks around the world, where dealers like us buy from them and then obviously sell them to you. So, when you think about physical gold, the spot price is important. That kind of gives you a baseline. And here, our big thing here, we want you to buy as close to spot as possible with a few caveats. We want you to be able to stay private. And in other words, you can buy as much as you like, sell as much as you like, trade as much as you like, without having to give out your Social Security number and be 1099, right? Those things are important. And a few others. We'll talk about that when we return. 800-951-0592. And we're talking about gold, but really this applies for all the metals. Platinum, palladium, silver, gold. Spot price is a big piece of it, but there's a lot of more work that goes in before it actually turns into a coin. Why a coin? Why not just buy a bar? Because a lot of you out there, you'll look around, you'll see companies advertising bars, and they're less, they're cheaper. And you just said, hey, we want you to buy as close to spot as possible. Why don't I want to buy a bar? Why don't I want to buy bullion, the new gold? Right? Why don't I want to buy a Maple Leaf or a Krugerrand? And the answer really is very simple. Because it doesn't hold up to what we believe. It doesn't have the privacy that the pre-1933 U.S. minted gold has. And by the way, if you're listening, we got a lot of listeners outside of the United States. Check your own country's laws. Here in the United States, the law is very clear and actually very simple. Right? The pre-1933 gold is classified as a collectible, which has much different reporting requirements than all the other forms of gold. So why we don't like bars, as an example. Yes, they're less. Not a lot, but they're less. A few percent here or there. The problem is twofold. One, when you go to sell them back, and believe me on this, you just don't get the value for it. You're going to get well back of spot. Unless you're selling right in the middle of, if you're selling at in the heart of the COVID pandemic, when it first started, I may have paid you spot. Maybe. But that's as good as it's going to get. So usually anything you save, let's just say, a bullion item was $50 less an ounce. And you're like, hey, I'm going to buy 10 ounces or 20 ounces. That's a lot. It's a lot of savings. Promise you this. You will lose all of that savings when you go to sell it back. Plus, when you sell back more than $10,000 worth, and you think about it right now, gold's almost $1,900. So 6 ounces is all that's all it takes. But remember, gold's been over 2,000 this year. I got to 2,100. I'm telling you, next year, I think gold's going to be 3,000. That would mean 4 ounces. But what if I'm wrong? What if gold's 3,500? Then it's only 3 ounces and you're over. Think about what my uncle said before he had passed. He thinks gold's going to 20. That means you couldn't even sell half an ounce without having to tell Uncle Sam. So again, there's tons of dealers out there. They all got their stories, like I've got mine. But here's the thing, I've got the law on my side. When you buy pre-1933 U.S. minted materials, you can sell me back 100 ounces. I write you a check, a bank wire, however you want me to pay you. And it's have a nice day. It's not, hey, Mr. Smuckatelli, hey, before we do this, I got this form here. Can I get your address? Okay, great. And I'm going to need your Social Security number. And then I'm going to notify my accountant when January rolls around, you're going to be getting a 1099 from us. So we can let Uncle Sam know what you were doing. I don't want to do that. It's a pain in the you-know-what. Most of you out there don't want to go through that. So, again, we want you to buy as close to spot as possible while being private. Very important. Because believe me, at some point you're going to want to sell. And maybe not you. Maybe your wife. Maybe your kids, your grandkids. And when that happens, you want it to be private. Especially if you're handing down wealth. So much better to imagine if you bought gold today and then, I don't know, 10 years from now, you decided to give some to your kids. Right? I'm not telling you how to do it, but man, you can just, hey, here you go. Right? No one needs to know. It's anyhow, that's a different story. I shouldn't say that stuff on the air. But getting back to it. So when you look at the spot price, you always know, hey, I'm going to pay more than that, or I should pay more than that. And when you don't, you should be worried. Something's wrong. Right? You'll have these, especially today. Either the guy you're buying it from rips somebody else off, or something's not right. That dealer's in need of money. Be very leery. If it's too good to be true, it is. And then I'll say this. I hope you buy from me. We've been doing this. January 2021 will be our 25th year in business. We've had not one person complain to the Better Business Bureau about us ever. And especially today with the internet. It's all anybody does. And the answer they don't is just we don't rip anybody off. We treat you with respect. We treat you honestly. We treat you fairly. I'm going to tell you right now, I'm going to make a few bucks. And you should want me to. Because that means I'll be here next year and the year after and the year after that. But here's what you're also going to find. I didn't rip you off. And I say it all the time. Yeah, there's always somebody out there, especially with the internet. Oh, I sold to you for $5 less. Okay. But sooner or later, right, you end up what? You're the guy that guy ran out of money on, right? You gave your money and you didn't get your product. It happens all the time. That's why you stick with dealers that have been around a long time like we have. When we get return, we'll talk about the guys on TV and the fancy spokesman guys and the free report guys. Patriot Radio News Hour. Don't touch that dial. 800-951-0592. And again, I really hope you buy from us. I hope you think there's value in the shows that we do and the education that we give. You know, if you thought about it, you know, it's an hour. The show is an hour. And even if you put a value of it at $1, you know, we're on pretty much 5 days a week, 52 weeks a year. I mean, it's 260 shows a year. If there's value in that to you and all of that, I hope you decide to do business with us. But there's a lot of good dealers out there. There are. There's a lot of bad ones, just like in everything, right? You got good financial planners, bad financial planners. There's good college football coaches, bad college football coaches, all that stuff. But I'm going to give you places not to buy, ever, because they're rip-off factories. The guys on TV, they're probably the worst. You know, the ones that sell the coins on the television, super, super expensive. Just whatever you're paying, you're probably paying twice what you should pay. You know, I'll give a great example. You know, we ran those AU pre-21 Morgan dollars last week. I think we ran them for $760. Those same coins on TV, they want $1,500 for them. So stay away from TV. Stay away from the guys that advertise on the stock channels. Same thing. Their favorite customer is, I've got money and I don't know anything. You know, use common sense. If you call up a dealer and you feel like you need to take a shower, don't buy from them. The guys that do the reads, you know, we've got them on, you know, I own the radio station up in Colorado. We've got Brian Kilmeade on. We've got Michael Savage on and Alex Jones on, right? We got these guys. They all got gold sponsors. And they all say the same thing. This is the one I trust. They don't trust them. They're getting paid to say it. They read whatever it is the dealer typed up for them. And they spend tens of thousands, $100,000 or more a year paying these guys to promote for them. And then, of course, what happens? Well, they got to make that money somehow. And you end up just getting ripped off. You end up paying 30 and 40 and 50% commissions. Same thing with the people with the free report. See, because a lot of us have been trained, especially if you're a corporate worker, right? Because you have once a year, you get your pamphlet, your packet for your 401ks and all those things, and they got the charts and the graphs, and so you think that legitimizes them. It doesn't. All it means is they're going to charge you more. They got to pay for it somehow. And believe me, just like a trifold, full color trifolds, you're talking close to $10 just to mail it. So, I mean, it adds up very, very quickly. I would strongly dissuade you from calling these people. And then plus they call you all the time. Once you're in the system, they just won't leave you alone. And every new person that works there, and it's a huge revolving door. Every used car salesman, anybody off the street, they pay them straight commission, and it's just a big boiler room operation. Nobody that works here is on commission. We don't make any outbound cold calls. None. The only outbound calls we make is, hey, here's your tracking number, or let you know you wanted us to call when your check came in, whatever it be. It's because you wanted us to call you. We make no outbound sales call, done. And I think, again, going back to the privacy thing, this is what separates us from everybody else in the industry. And this is why, like I said, we're boring. Right? We don't have any complaints. We don't really have, there's a handful of reviews out there because I don't want them. Don't need them. The only thing that is important to me is that you get treated honestly, fairly, and with respect. That's it. If we make a mistake, which we're human, we've done it, it's happened, we fix it. And we fix it quickly. It doesn't happen very often, but when we do, we will fix everything. Other than that, that's kind of it, really. When we're talking about with us, again, we want you to buy the right gold at the right price, and that's where we come in. We're better than anybody at it, period. And you think about the special that we ran yesterday with the AU20 lib, and we were throwing in 2 ounces of silver at $21.25. I actually had we had about 17 packages left from yesterday. I actually was talking to the world's largest wholesaler, who is the one that offered me the coins, and they were gracious enough. They've added a few more to it, so I've got 50 more of those, and it's the best deal I've got. You're going to get an AU gold piece, and we'll talk about that at the next segment. An AU gold piece, 2 ounces of silver, $21.25, $2,125 per at 800-951-0592. When we final segment, when we get back, we'll touch on the coins and the quality and rare and unusual and all that stuff. Don't touch that dial. Yeah, by the way, Nancy Pelosi, Speaker of the House again. Yeah, time for a change, isn't it? Term limits. Anyway, before we wrap up here, by the way, nothing's really doing much. The Dow's up 80 points. Gold's unchanged, 1882. Silver's unchanged, 2465. But we're talking about, the right gold, right prices. The last part is, rare, unusual, collectible, and there's a big misconception out there. We like to stay, we call it the low end. We want you to have all the benefits of pre-1933 gold without paying premiums. You can have coins that are graded, mint state, 61, 2, 3, and I'm talking about today's price. This one's an AU. It's a little nicer. But you don't pay for nicer with us. Don't buy graded coins, especially graded bullion. That may be the dumbest thing ever, but that's a different show. Don't buy graded coins unless I'm selling them. Because if I'm selling them, you're buying it at a huge discount. No graded coin is rare. That's $500 over spot, or $600 or $700 or $800. It's not rare. Nothing rare about it. They just want to make more money on it. If you have a coin that the dealer is telling you, and it's rare and it could go up in value because it's so rare, and it's not at least $20,000 a coin, you're not buying a rare coin. Just saying. Actual rare coins are worth tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands to millions of dollars. If you're a collector, a true collector, my brother is a baseball card collector, like a real one. You know, he's got a couple $1 million worth of baseball cards, but he knows what he's doing. He knows what's rare and what isn't. That's not what we do here. I can help you if you got a wish list of things, but by and large, we want you to buy as much gold as possible that allows you to stay as private as possible. Every once in a while, you can do that with a graded coin with me. If the deal is right, then I'll pass it on to you. Otherwise, just buy what's on sale. I'm telling you, it's always the best way. That's the big thing with us. I want to buy the special. I mean, that's it. That's all you need to say. We'll take it from there. So today, again, this is the best buy we have by far. Matter of fact, it's the best buy we've had in months. That's how good it is, and maybe all year. And we've had a lot of good buys this year. You're going to get a almost uncirculated $20 gold piece. That's an ounce of gold. 2 ounces of silver, and it only is going to cost you $2,125. You know, when you're sitting there going, okay, well, gold's almost $1,900, and silver is almost $25. You know, just in spot, that's $1,950, and you got to have all the labor and all the stuff, all the extra stuff that goes into it. It's a great value. 800-951-0592. I hope I've answered some of the questions for all you new listeners out there. If you have any others, don't hesitate to call us. We'll be happy to help you.